Good morning. This is Rock Daniels here with America Water Cooler News. Now, 2 Black Hawk helicopters crashed in Trigg County, Kentucky during a routine training mission with the status of the crew unknown, but the incident occurred with the 101st Airborne Division, and Governor Andy Beshear warned that fatalities are expected. Now, U.S. Army Fort Campbell said that they are focused on caring for the service members and their families. This is still a developing story. Now, former Vice President Mike Pence has stated that he is not hiding anything regarding the Justice Department's investigation into former President Donald J. Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Now, a federal judge has ruled that Pence must testify to a federal grand jury as part of the investigation, but Pence's lawyers have argued that he should be shielded by the Constitution's speech and debate clause. Now, Pence has said that he plans to meet with his legal team to decide whether to appeal the decision, but that is not and will not affect his decision about whether to run for president in 2024. Now, Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania plans to return to the Senate in mid-April after receiving mental health treatment for clinical depression. Now, Fetterman had been checked into Walter Reed National Military Medical Center on February 15th due to his depression. He has experienced depression throughout his life, and doctors say that it is common for stroke patients to suffer from depression. Now, Fetterman had difficulty processing spoken words quickly due to an auditory processing disorder caused by a near-fatal stroke he suffered while campaigning in 2022. A staffer for Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky, who was stabbed multiple times, is expected to make a full recovery, according to a statement from his parents. Now, the victim, Philip Todd, was transported to the hospital with life-threatening injuries after the attack in Washington, D.C. on this last Saturday. Now, the suspect, Glenn Neal, was arrested on Monday and charged with assault with intent to kill. Senator Paul asked for privacy for his staffer and thanked his first responders, hospital staff, and police for their actions. Now, Pope Francis has been hospitalized in Rome after experiencing breathing difficulties in recent days. Now, tests at the Gemelli Hospital have identified a respiratory infection, ruling out COVID-19 though. Now, the Vatican spokesperson Matteo Bruni confirmed that the Pope will need several days of medical therapy, causing the cancellations of his audiences through Friday and raising questions about his participation in the Vatican's Holy Week activities. Now, Francis had part of his one lung removed as a young man and often speaks with a whisper. Now, he spent 10 days in Gemelli Hospital following a surgery in 2021. Now, over 1,100 tech leaders, including Elon Musk and Steve Wozniacki from Apple, the other Steve from Apple, they have signed an open letter calling for a 6-month moratorium on the development of advanced AI systems more powerful than OpenAI's GPT-4. Now, the letter also urges governments to develop regulatory frameworks such as tracking and overseeing AI's developments, increasing public funding for AI safety and research, and establishing well-resourced institutions for dealing with the economic and political disruption AI will cause. Now, the letter was released under the Future of Life Institute and calls for a refocus in making today's state-of-the-art systems more accurate, safe, and transparent. Now, we should actually question ourselves, what's China and Russia and India going to do? And are they going to abide by any of these rules? Now, the leader of California's Reparations task force announced that they will not take a position on how much the state should compensate black residents for decades of over-policing, disproportionate incarceration, and housing discrimination. Now, economists have estimated that black residents may be owed over $800 billion, which is more than 2.5 times California's annual budget. Now, the task force has approved methodologies for calculating compensations for various forms of damages. Now, the state legislature and governor will ultimately decide if reparations will be paid. Now, the panel has until July 1st to recommend forms of compensation and other remedies to repair this supposed harm. Now, the grand jury investigating the hush money case involving former President Donald J. Trump is scheduled to pause after April 5th for several weeks due to upcoming religious holidays and public school spring vacation. Now, the grand jury is not expected to hear the case again until later in the month, putting on hold the anticipation that Trump could be indicted for the first time in American history. Now, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's investigation into Trump's reimbursement of hush money payment is one of several investigations that could pose legal troubles for the former president. Now, a Delaware judge overseeing the $1.6 billion defamation lawsuit against Fox News criticized the network's attorneys for attempting to argue that founder Rupert Murdoch was too infirm to testify in a trial next month. Now, Judge Eric M. Davis warned Fox's attorneys to be careful during several exchanges and cautioned them against making him look like an idiot. Now, cases involving Dominion voting systems, allegations that Fox News and several of its top executives and hosts broadcasted false claims about the company after the 2020 election. Now, Donald J. Trump is appealing a court ruling that would require his former aides, including Mark Meadows, to testify before a grand jury in the investigation of efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Now, this ruling is one of several defeats Trump has faced in his attempt to use executive privilege, claiming to block the testimony for former aides and allies. Now, the ruling also rejected Trump's privilege claims for former members of his White House, including Stephen Miller and Dan Scavino. Now, it is unclear if any of the parties will appeal a recent ruling on a subpoena for Mike Pence. Well, guys, that does it today for another edition of America Water Cooler News. My name is Rock Daniels. I am the Bluegrass Realtor for all your Central Kentucky real estate needs. So thank you so much for stopping by. Please be sure, click that subscribe button so you and I can stay connected. Have a wonderful day today. I look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow on another edition of America Water Cooler News. Have a great day.